Welcome back to the neighborhood. Our next guest is Rob Bunis from Prime Realty Partners.
Oh man,
Rob,
how are you?
welcome to the show. I got a feeling we're gonna have a little bit of fun.
We always have fun, man.
Fun.
That's the game.
Absolutely. So tell everybody the three people that are watching this that don't know who you are,
Right.
You know, because everybody that's watching us knows who you are. Tell them a little bit about who you are and how you got in the real estate game.
Yeah. So I got a weird story. So I dropped out of college, went back to college 2 years later, graduated, started my master's, worked in the environmental field for about 7 years, did that thing, and one day I was like, you know what? The right move is not what I'm doing anymore. I'm sick of working for somebody else. Had never liked having a boss, and the rest is history, man. I've been in this business 6 years now, and when I got in, started Keller Williams, went to Weichert for 3 months, went back to Keller Williams, and now I'm at Prime Realty Partners with Mark Ricci. Just opened the office in Cherry Hill, so everything's on the up and up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And you were talking about your new venture. You're the broker of the office now, is that right? Or you're the...
I am, yeah, so I'm the broker manager.
Okay.
So Mark's still a broker of record.
Sure.
So he's the legal backdrop, right?
Mhm.
But I am too. My job is to be there and coach, mentor the agent. So, you know, when we get a new agent, we sit down with them, we teach them how to build a business, which is a lot different than a lot of other offices, because most agents taught how to transact, and that's what we're supposed to do. But what do you do with the money that's coming in? How are you supposed to run a business if you have no experience doing it? That's the important part that we actually go ahead and we'll teach. We'll help them build a business plan. We'll do all those things. Yeah, it's a little different.
So what are you looking for if someone's watching this and says, maybe I want to talk to Rob about joining his team or aligning with his forces? What are you looking for in somebody who's coming on?
I don't know that it's necessarily, there's no like specific, like I don't want to carve out like a one specific, I want to actually rephrase that question if you don't mind. I think the even better question would be like, what separates us from other maybe brokerages? Because there's so many different models that I think work for people, right?
Sure.
Culture is super important to some people. Mentorship's very important. As a matter of fact, in 2021 there was a I think it was an NAR research project on what agents actually want most.
What they want.
It literally flipped. So number 3 and 4, 5 years ago I think it was culture and mentorship. Now the number 1 and 2 thing is culture and mentorship.
Right.
So it's funny. So that's what we're building the culture of the office. Obviously we've only been open in Cherry Hill for what are we in May? Since February. So it's like 3.5 months now. So so we're just opening up. But I think the thing that is beneficial for us is we do the things that a lot of other brokerages may not necessarily allow their agents to do. We are involved in the not retail space, so we have relationships with the investment companies that may, list wholesale properties and stuff like that. We do everything by the book. We do it the right way with disclosures. But the other companies, the bigger companies, usually don't touch that stuff just because when you're managing 150 to 400 agents, some of these offices in the area are huge.
Sure.
There's a lot of liability with that. It's a lot more difficult to actually remain in the trenches with the agents to make sure that they're in compliance.
Nice.
So that's what I think is our specialty.
Would you be looking for fresh meat, moldable clay, or are you looking for 4 years in the business, kind of has their own way, and they want to go to the next level kind of thing?
I love it all.
Okay.
So here's my theory. So I was very fortunate. I had really great mentors when I got in the business, and I'm super humble about that because I would not be where I am now without it. So I like to give back and teach too. So I don't mind having a new agent. As a matter of fact, I'd rather bring a new agent on specifically because you can't. What's that? Dog new tricks.
Can't
right?
keep an old dog new tricks.
Yeah. So
for sure.
Like I don't want to say that once you have the bad habits, you can't remove them and replace them with the right ones. But when you're starting from scratch with somebody, it's a lot easier to train them. So in that respect, it's good. But I also like working with agents that know what they're doing. I'm obviously never. I don't like being the smartest person in the room, and I try to put myself in spaces with people that have way more experience than me. But I do know a lot more than what I would say the average agent does. So therefore, if I'm put in a room with somebody who's been in the business 4 or 5 years, I usually still something to add.
Right.
So I'll bring them all into my brokerage if I can.
Yeah, I like it. One of my things bringing people here, I love the new people. I would way rather teach them than break them down and reteach them. That's easier. But the one thing I've noticed is I can teach someone almost anything. The only thing I can't teach somebody is work ethic.
You know what? That's spot on. There's nothing I can add to that because I believe the exact same thing. I mean, it's very difficult to teach that because if you can't teach somebody to have the drive, then you can't. They're not going to be receptive to everything you're teaching. I've trained people on just about everything in real estate at this point, and the one thing that I found is that if you have it, you have it.
Yeah.
You don't, you don't.
Yeah.
And you know, I would say, I mean, what is it? It's 2 or 3% of the agents that actually make it to do volume end up staying in it for like 20, 30 years. And moreover, there's like 60 people in most real estate courses when you're going through the
Sure.
process, and I think only like 5 or 10% of them ever actually close a deal. So
Right.
when you're looking at it, you know, I think that has a lot to do with the drive and ambition that people have.
Yeah, I know one of my shortcomings that I've always had to be aware of in recruiting people and training people is I fall in love with the potential of somebody.
Mhm.
They impress me with something
Yeah.
that they do, and I really like the things that they have, and then you teach them and you get them on the floor, and you're like, what do you mean?
I agree.
What do you mean?
I
It's
agree.
3 o'clock and then you're not there. Or you know, the customer calls and goes, "Hey, I'm trying to get in touch with somebody. I called them 3 times and they're not calling me back." I'm like, "What?"
My biggest weakness, you know, talking about weaknesses, my biggest weakness in general is like, you know, it's funny because people look at me on Facebook, they're like, "Oh man, he's such a bad guy," but like they don't really know me, right?
Yeah.
My mentality is help everybody. So when somebody comes in like, "Oh man, I really want to learn from you," the first thought should be like, "All right, let me ask them a few questions and see if they're a good fit," right?
Right.
Instead, it's always like, "I'm gonna help this person
Yes.
no matter what," and
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? So that's, I think that's my biggest downfall is like the need and want to help everybody, knowing that you can't help everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you want to and you try, but you can't.
Yeah, it's
It's
tough.
not possible.
It's tough, and I've held on far too long to a couple of
Yeah.
employees in my career where I'm like, I know that they're going to turn the corner. I
Right,
know they're going
right.
to turn the corner. And 7 months later, I'm like, I know they're
Right,
going to turn
right,
the corner. And
yeah.
everyone else that's on the management team is like,
No, yeah, exactly. And then you don't
and
have
I'm
a
like,
choice.
but I'm like, yeah, but in the interview, they're like,
Right.
yeah, well, you're ignoring what they've done
Right, the
on the
last couple
floor.
months, right.
All right, whatever.
Yeah,
Get rid of them.
yeah.
All right, so let's go to 2024.
Uh-huh.
May, whatever, 12th, 14th, whatever it is today.
Yeah.
2 years from now, where's Rob Bunis? Where do you see yourself? And
Man, that's a good question. So right now, dude, I'm so ADHD, I can't say so. So where I'm gonna be in a couple years, I just don't know. What I do know is that my intention is to keep building Prime with Mark.
Mhm.
Mark and I are, you know, it's not just a work relationship. We're good. We're
Yeah.
he's one of my best friends. So like we go off together. We do all this stuff. Want to help him build this business while I'm also building my investment companies because I have 2 different investment companies. Number of doors that we already have. Working on 2 flips right now myself. I'm coaching. I'm mentoring. I have Evolution Realty Partners. You know, I've got my own production. There's a lot of stuff going on
Sure.
behind the scenes. So like, I don't know that I want to refine them because I'm delegating enough right now for the most part that I can focus on everything individually. But if I had to put my finger on one thing, I think having kids would actually trump everything else.
Okay, I like that. That's an awesome
I
answer.
think that's like a different
Sure.
way to go. But like that is, I'm 34. Like that's, you know, I'm married. I've been married for 5 years. Been with my wife for now 13. Like it's time. You know what I mean? It's time.
Nice.
So yeah. So that's I think the next thing.
I like
Next
that. That's an
couple
awesome
years.
answer.
Yeah,
That is a
yeah.
great answer. I got 6 kids, so I definitely
Yeah,
that's where it's at.
That's why you're in the mortgage business.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, you gotta keep them fed.
Yeah,
You
right.
gotta- I got grandkids, I got them popping all over the place. I got
Yeah.
5 girls, you know,
Yeah,
got all
yeah,
kinds of
yeah.
weddings to pay for. And all
Yeah,
that
right.
stuff.
Yeah, you better start saving up for those
Uh-huh.
weddings, man. Wait, you 4 girls?
5 girls.
5 girls?
I have 3 kids. I have
So-
3 stepkids.
So the
and-
running joke, you know how like twins skip a generation?
Yeah.
So Jen, my wife, her dad was a twin, right? Well, neither her or her brother are twins. So they're due.
Right.
And I know, like I want 2 kids, right? I don't want like, you can't
So
just
you're
have
gonna be
3.
one and done.
Ah, yeah, so like that would be perfect scenario. But with my luck, like everything in my life, I busted my ass. I don't know. Am I allowed to
You can
curse
say
on here?
that's right.
It's kind of okay. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so like
Mr. Mortgage approves it.
All right,
a little
all right,
bit.
Mr.
No
Rogers.
F-bombs, no F-bombs, but we're good. We're good with that.
All right,
We're
all
good.
right, all right. So yeah, so like the skips a generation, and I'm thinking here, I'm like, all right, well, I've worked my behind off to get to where I am in general in life, overcome so much adversity. If there's one thing that's gonna go wrong, it's probably like I'm gonna pop one out, and then we're gonna go for two, and then I'm gonna get like septuplets. Or
Yeah,
something.
true. Yeah. Have like 5.
Yeah, I'm like,
have the all girls.
No, yeah. I've got like 8 kids. Yeah.
That's
No,
awesome.
I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, here's your surprise question.
Okay, here we go.
Tomorrow you wake up and a genie appears and says you can go to any sporting event that's happened in the last 100 years, relive that event, and you can bring one person with you. What's your event you want to go see, and who's the person you're bringing with you?
That is a good question. And I'm thinking of 2 games, and it's a tie.
Okay.
Clinching Flyers Stanley Cup
74.
74.
Okay.
That's got to be on that list. I'm sorry to pick one.
Yeah, that's how you got it.
That's one.
Uh-huh.
The second one has to be Super Bowl, Eagles Super Bowl, man.
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I'd probably take my dad.
Yeah.
Doesn't get the opportunity to do that kind of stuff that often. So I try to.
That's the beauty of sports. Like it's all the things that go on, but really it's the camaraderie and the bonding and the lasting moments that you have.
100%. I mean, my dad's not a New York Yankees fan anymore, but like he was a Rangers fan and everything growing up.
Okay.
Mets fan. He was probably pond scum and just told me he was a Yankees fan. I to this day I'll never know. He grew up in Brooklyn, so so I converted him to a Phillies fan. I think it was partially because I was raised Philly the first year of my life, and then Jersey for last been here for a long time too. So I think he's a convert to the Philly sports.
He would appreciate it.
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, Rob. Thanks for coming
Dude,
by.
always a pleasure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We'll be back with the next guest on Mr. Mortgage.